always lead with your value, because odds are there is something that you can contribute to your new path or a new team that you're working with. Anything that, just shows them what you can bring to the table, and be confident in it. Those skill sets have gotten you to where you are today. And I think it's very important to understand what your skill sets are and what your value is that you bring.
Welcome, everyone, to the Road Less Traveled Show. This is a show about people that were successful in a different career and chose to go down a different path. I'm your co-host, Richard Coyne.
And I'm your co-host, Bill Zahller.
On today's show, we have Denise Piazza, and we're certainly glad you're here. Very much appreciate you taking time. So welcome, Denise.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Yes. Thanks, Denise, for being on the Road Less Traveled Show. Well, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, what your former career was, and how long you were in that line of work?
Sure. My background is I started about 20 years ago working at a CPA firm, and that's where I had my first exposure to real estate in various forms. I had to do some of the accounting and the tax work for real estate businesses and clients who owned real estate, which certainly intrigued me at the time. But truthfully, at that point, didn't have much of the capital to begin investing. So after a few years there, I went to work for a few different Fortune 100 companies in the accounting and finance departments. I had worked my way up through those organizations. And luckily for me, the company that I ended up spending the most time working for was growing very quickly. I had to swim in different lanes and had the opportunity to work on billions of dollars of projects, acquisitions, joint ventures, system implementations, and other just various large capital projects that we had. So that kind of, gave me a great framework for finance and a lot of the investing mindset that I bring to my real estate background. But I'd say about 10 years ago, my husband and I then started investing in real estate more heavily. And we've invested both actively and passively across multiple different asset classes in that time frame: single family, commercial, retail space, triple nets, and multifamily. And all of this was in addition to our more traditional savings, portfolio savings as well. And then through these experiences, we just developed our passion for investing in multifamily. Both of us are CPAs, so we love the tax benefits in comparison to our more traditional portfolio investments, as well as, the strong, predictable returns when you're invested in the right markets. And then a short time ago, I decided to make the path to go along the path of taking on more of an active role in some commercial real estate properties, mostly multifamily. So here I am today, and just really enjoying it, and looking forward to continue to go down the path.
Excellent. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. It's amazing. The tax advantages are fantastic. And again, of course, we're not giving tax advice on this show right now. So please make sure you do talk to your tax accountant. But again, if you're able to leverage those tax advantages, it's wonderful. And again, we've all said this before as well. We love that you partner with the bank, and the bank makes you a big, nice loan to acquire that property. So that's a great aspect of real estate as well. So very nice.
Absolutely.
So Denise, in your CPA days, when you were, in the initial firm, or then maybe later on in the Fortune 100, I think you said companies, is there a funny story that you encountered along the way, something that made you scratch your head and laugh about why am I here?
Well, yes. I think we can all relate to just the fact of how hard you work when you're working your way up through the ranks of the organization. So several years ago, when I was pregnant with my daughter, I was pretty much on at D-Day, and I was around 9 months pregnant, and we were going through an acquisition of an asset of one of our affiliate companies. And we were on a call in the morning, and it was, I'll say, a somewhat heated call. There was a lot of back and forth on who was going to manage what, and taking over certain assets. So it ended up being a long, exhausting call. And then fast forward to the next day, our CFO at the time had said, "Oh, where's Denise?" And somebody said, "Well, oh, she had her daughter yesterday. She's going to be out for a little bit." And he's like, "Well, no, that's impossible. She was on a call with me yesterday." So it just goes to show you that, it's great. I am forever appreciative of my W-2 experiences. It got me to the place I am today. But it's just funny how hard you have to work to get there, and how many things, you end up, in a way, just being able to laugh about, after the fact. Although at the time, it wasn't very funny to me that literally that call probably put me directly into labor. So yeah.
Right. Wait, I have one more point to make.
Right.
Labor pain.
Sorry.
No. Oh, wait.
Right over the edge.
Breathe
Exactly.
through it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Was there a deciding factor in kind of transitioning, pivot your career? Was it just the no control of your schedule like everybody else's time and in a Fortune 500 or 100 company? Or was it the tax benefits or a combination of everything? What made you decide we're definitely on the right path?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things. I mean, basically for me, I'm forever passionate about being continuously learning.
Mm-hmm.
And once I started investing in real estate and being a passive investor and limited partner in multiple deals, I just, I wanted to continue to understand basically what intrigued me, not surprisingly, being a CPA, is the financial models that the operators utilize, and the key assumptions that they make in order to project out the returns on the deals. So, for me, in order to be a more sophisticated investor and really understand what I was putting my money in, I dove right headfirst into that. And I just realized, in working in one industry for a large portion of my career, it's great, and again, it affords you a lot of opportunities. I was at a really fast-paced growing company, so I had to wear a lot of hats. But I think after a while, you end up starting to get into a routine, and you get more comfortable with what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. And this is something that 5 years ago, as a passive investor, was still somewhat new to me. And I just wanted to continue to educate myself and be a more, as I said, more sophisticated investor, and really know what I was putting my money into. And I knew that it was a great opportunity from a tax perspective. I knew that there was a lot of money to be made in real estate, truthfully, and just, looking at our clients' activity over the year, I understood that was exactly how a lot of folks ended up, getting to the position that they're in today. But, as I said, I wanted to feel better about investing my money into these types of deals. And so I went headfirst into understanding the financial models and the key assumptions associated with a lot of different asset classes.
That's great. Yeah, you definitely have an advantage, I guess, in preparing the returns, kind of look behind the curtain to see what's working. And if you pick up on a pattern of, this
Right.
industry seems to do really well. And yeah, that's
Right.
great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. And you touched on a couple things there also that, well, first of all, educate yourself. I mean, Bill and I are huge believers in educate yourself. We have, we run 2 monthly meetings for folks. A lot of them are new folks trying to learn, trying to get their feet wet. We run this podcast, for the point of education, because again,
Yeah.
we are huge believers in understanding and knowing what you're talking about. You want
Right.
to walk the walk, talk the talk, know the language, be able to, speak credibly to people. And that means education. Now education without taking action is a different kind of thing, and we don't recommend that. Love to learn, but you gotta get in the game. And the other thing also you touched on as well is effectively really, time and time again, study after study, whatever, you look at the people who made significant wealth over the lifetime, and a lot of it was very much associated with real estate. Not only real estate, but associated very heavily with real estate. So yeah, great.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Denise, as you were moving into, really taking more of an active role, really getting more deeper into the multifamily side, were there any obstacles you encountered along the way?
Yeah, I mean, I think this industry in and of itself, just with the type of market that it's been for the last few years, it's just, there's a lot of barriers to entry. You really have to have, in order to be an operator of a commercial real estate asset, you have to have the experience. And you have to, partner with folks who have that experience, and can lead you down the right path, and someone that you feel good about their reputation, you feel good about where they are ethically, how they present themselves to investors, and how they operate their assets truthfully, are some of the key things that help you, make your way into a good position as a co-operator in this industry. So I would just say, just the high barriers to entry, in joining and becoming and deciding to make the path, to go down the path of being an active partner on commercial real estate deals.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Denise, can you recall, what was your first victory when you decided to go down the new path, and something that cemented in your mind that you made the right choice?
Right. I would say, the first opportunity that I had to be a co-general partner on a large multifamily purchase was really my first victory. I believed in the deal, and as a CPA and as somebody who had invested a lot passively, I had previously, focused heavily on the return metrics and the projections. But the folks that I was partnering with, they really had opened my eyes to the importance of the team and how critical that the team is in operating the asset, and how they can be just as important as the asset in and of itself. Because, they're really, the post-acquisition phase is where the work is really done. So being a part of that team and believing in a deal and intimately knowing the underwriting, and going through that process, and, raising money with our investors, it really was a big win for me, because it allows you to see, you're on the other side. Normally, I was the one that was investing in multiple deals, and that certainly assisted me, because I, very easy for me to empathize with other real estate investors, spending so much time passively investing. So I would say, that was a big win, and being able to utilize my own experiences and put them, actually just put things in perspective. I don't want to say put them at ease, because you're never really fully at ease when you're investing, but you can feel comfortable in the deal and the market and the team that you're investing with. And knowing, utilizing my own experiences and relating them to this particular deal was a big win for me.
I think it's absolutely critical. I mean, and Richard and I talk about this all the time too, that the team to me, is more important. I would much rather have a good operator with an okay deal than a great deal with an okay operator, because the good operator is going to be able to find a way to make it, the best you can make of the situation. Everything's not going to be perfect, but they have the experience, the ethical back. I mean, everything that makes the deal going to work. It's the team is, I think, much more important, because at the end of the day, I mean, the pro forma, these are everybody's best guesses on what's going to happen in the future. But yeah, the team is definitely critical. I 100% agree on that, for sure.
Right. And somebody making sure that you can execute your business plan. I mean, if you can't execute the best business plan in the world, it's meaningless, right? I mean, so, the renovations, or if it's a value add multifamily project, or if it's just working with your property management team, you really have to have a certain skill set in order to be able to effectively do that. So I like to think that I've had the opportunity to meet some great operators, and I'm happy to learn from their experience.
That's great. Absolutely.
Right. learn from the mistakes of others and go forward. But at the same point in time, you're absolutely right. You have to have when you're as soon as you close that deal, your projections are past. You obviously have to have a good plan to go forward, and then have discipline to really execute on that plan.
Right.
We've seen some crazy, ridiculous assumptions that some folks have made, including trying to make the returns look great by cap rate compression on the exit. Well, compression on the exit, what? Okay, well, that just doesn't seem like a good assumption to make. So we
Right.
and quite honestly, I feel like that's it sets you up for a bad run. You've got to you have to make assumptions, but at the same point in time, they got to be reasonable assumptions when you're making that plan and then execute the plan. Right.
Right. Absolutely.
So Denise, on your new world, have you encountered any funny stories, anything humorous along the way?
I think it's just, the funny story is really for me just relating to when you're starting a business, and I'm sure you guys can empathize, it's on your mind a lot. So someone might be talking to you and you're physically there and you're looking at them and you're hearing them, but in the back of your mind, your business is always there. So a friend of mine who is also in the real estate business, she was talking to me and she said, and we were out to dinner, and she said, are you ready to have some fun? And I thought she said, are you ready to start a fund? So I started going down this path. I'm like, I'm so glad you brought that up. I've been thinking the same thing. I'm glad we're on the same page, and, just went down this long-winded, story of, all my ideas about a fund. But it just goes to show you, when you're starting a business and you're, you constantly have it on your mind, you end up getting distracted. So she made fun of me for quite a while for that.
Well, that would have been a fun conversation for us.
Exactly.
Either way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just the wrong audience.
Right.
Well, that kind of thing is the gift that keeps on giving. She'll give you grief on that for years. So there you
go. Exactly.
Well, Denise, where are you today in your journey? You've talked about you did some co-GPs now. You've gone more on the GP side. Where do you see yourself going with your new business?
I just like to, continue to build out in my investor base. I think, shifting to more focus on getting your education and your message across to your investors is extremely important. And at the end of the day, in this business, it's all about your reputation. So continuing to make sure that I work on deals and are partnering on deals that make sense, are conservatively underwritten, and end up just, under promising and over delivering. So that's where my focus is now, just continuing to grow, but also, continuing to grow that investor base, and continuing to educate folks, given my background of, extensive passive investing.
Right. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So Denise, in terms of just you're an active investor. You actively do these things as well. You've done. Is there anything that you do, you and perhaps your husband do, to give back in terms of just maybe it's for your investors, maybe it's for your communities, anything like that you can share?
We do. We are working on getting some information added to our website for our business, for organizations that we feel extremely passionate about. So we donate a portion of our proceeds from our interests in our commercial real estate investments to a few organizations. Most of them are benefit the sick children. One of them is for a very rare disease with a current 0% survival rate. So supporting organizations with just, missions that we feel extremely passionate about. And so, our next goal in not only having us support them, but it's also to get the message out there, just to raise awareness for these organizations, because anything else that we can do to benefit them, it's really what it's all about for us. So getting that information added to our website so that, again, it just it allows investors to see what we feel passionate about, but also raises awareness for those organizations as well.
That's great. Yeah, I think it's so critical to give back, and that it's a great way to do it.
Yeah, and to that point, we actually ourselves have just recently released the Park Capital Partners Foundation as a way to give back, and we'll have our. We're not going to. You don't need to go into details about that, but again, that's great, and it sounds like you're pursuing some really important efforts and causes. So great.
Absolutely. Well, Denise, what is something you've recently implemented in your business that's helped you achieve your goals?
I would say just implementing the software to track all of the information associated with deals, and then now having access to software to be able to do a lot of research on markets. You spend thousands of dollars a year in two different software, two different types of software that allows us to do extensive market research and feeling good about the markets that we're investing in, and doing deals in with our investors. So I would say investing in all sorts of systems to automate and integrate everything that you have available to you, all the information that becomes available to you once you have those systems in place.
Right. It's great. It's a lot to manage, isn't it? I mean, from
the
investor list to
it is.
deal flow and everything else. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
To
helps us stay organized.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. To support the scaling of your business, you have to systematize and really kind of look for ways that are going to help you manage. Because you're right, there's a lot of data, there's a lot of information flowing back and forth, and you got to have something there to support you. I mean, your brain can handle a lot, but you need support. So good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Denise, is there anything you could share with somebody who's considering making a path change? Any advice?
I would say just lead with your value. So, one thing that, sometimes folks are not as comfortable with talking to other people about, what their skill set is, and just always lead with your value, because odds are there is something that you can contribute to your new path or a new team that you're working with, a new organization, anything that, just shows them what you can bring to the table, and be confident in it, because, those skill sets have gotten you to where you are today. And I think it's very important to understand what your skill sets are and what your value is that you bring.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Denise, what's the best way for viewers to be able to reach you, learn more about what you're doing or more about your charity?
Sure. You can reach me at our website, which is www.mlcapitaladvisors.com. And hopefully that'll be on the show notes for everyone in case they didn't catch that. And there's a link there where you can register. You can contact me through email, or you can register for our portal. And there will be information about our company and our background, and a little bit about what we're doing.
Great. And we'll definitely include those in the show notes. Well, Denise, I want to thank you for being on the Road Less Traveled show today. We really enjoyed the conversation and wish you continued success.
Thank you. Same to you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you, Denise. We appreciate you being on, taking time to be with us today. So thank you. Folks, please, we want to thank our sponsors as well. Park Capital Partners sponsors this show, and please give us a 5-star rating so we can continue bringing you more great content like Denise Piazza today. Again, thanks, Denise. And then also we are sponsored by the Park Capital Partners Foundation, and we also, finally, the Park Capital Value Add Fund. So please be sure to check us out as well. And folks, thanks for joining, everyone. We really appreciate you tuning in today. Please remember, the road less traveled may be calling you. We recommend that you listen and take action. Thanks for joining.